You are tuning in to the finals. We have made it. We have been doing competitions across the United States, preliminary competitions at colleges and universities in the midst of a shutdown, a pandemic. It's post-apocalyptic, it's mid-apocalyptic. I don't know where we are, but we've been doing competitions to find the best college poet in the United States of America, okay? Over the last 2 months and 2 nights on October 25th, 2020, at the end of this night, we are going to crown the first ever America's Best College Poet. If you are here cheering on your partner, your niece, your grandson, your best friend, your mentee, you better tweet all your friends, set out an email blast right now, sign up for Constant Contact, let everybody know. Because listen, a lot of us have been doing all these different virtual gigs, and let me tell you something. If you are clapping in your living room right now in Charlotte, North Carolina, on the west side of Chicago, on the east side of Providence, Rhode Island, if you're out in like Eugene, Oregon, if you're clapping somewhere in the south side of San Diego, California, we can feel you clapping. The poets can feel all of that energy, and we need it. I'm telling you, these 10 poets are absolute fire. It's going to be a nightmare for the judges. I'm so glad I'm not a judge, but you're going to have an amazing show. You don't have to worry about that. You just enjoy it and have fun. Okay. I'm going to do a poem right now to set things off. And then we're going to get this show, like the wheels really rolling on this train. And you're going to hear from these incredible poets. Okay. So last Tuesday, time is so strange right now. I think it was last Tuesday. I've been writing poetry for 21 years. I released my first full-length poetry collection, Fractures, last Tuesday. Here it is. It exists. I can hold it in my hands. It's wild. It's a baby. I have two actual children, but this is like another child. It's really weird. It's amazing. So yeah. So shout out to University of Wisconsin Press for putting out Fractures. I'm going to do a poem right now. And it's for anybody who is out there. If you've ever been accused of not looking like who you in fact are, this poem is called Where Are You Really From? And it's for you. And it goes like this. The man's words to me are not offered, but flung. So, what are you? Where are you from? I say, New York. But your name is Carlos. I mean, where are you really from? I say, New York. Bueno, yo soy Latino. Mi padre es colombiano. Mi madre es estadounidense. Nací in New York City. I lived in 4 countries, moved 12 times, went to 12 schools before I graduated high school. Is not what I would say in 12,341 years because I don't know a damn thing to anyone. What am I? What am I, a financial aid form, a vegan red velvet cupcake recipe? Dude discovers his first Latino with green eyes and suddenly appoints himself the authority on Latinidad, like, but you totally don't look Mexican. Oh, Colombian, but like what percentage you speak it though? Fluently? Dance salsa well? Oh, but not both parents. You've been there, but not lived there. So you weren't born there. Yeah. I'm not a government questionnaire. I'm not an anecdote for your homogenous social gathering of your homogenous friends. I know everyone you hang out with looks like you, has a name you are able to pronounce and or share, and or sounds pulled directly from an episode of Leave It to Beaver. Here's the deal. Latin America is not just Mexico. Actually pronounced Mexico, pero whatever. Central America is not part of South America, and Mexican is still not a language. The question, where are you from in our current America, is a slur disguised with a question mark. A passive-aggressive microaggression saying you are other. Saying you are not from here, saying you are not nor will ever be one of us, saying go back to where you came from. But I am from a place beyond place, a place where once you're from there, you can never leave because it exists beyond dirt and flesh, beyond your linear and limited concept of time. I am from bloodlines unkillable as water. I am the return that is only earned when absence has stretched its gritty void across a passage as stoic and sacred as an abuela's hard-edged love. I am my black and Latina daughter's grace, chimered into the cobalt pulse of these once too often fists. I am a boy. without a word of English in his mouth, in a Catholic school classroom in South Florida, his son on a virtual stage via Zoom, hosting the grand finale of America's Best College Poet 59 years later tonight, reading this poem for him. I am the steady ray of light, unlocking my mother's teeth, tossed skyward with a laugh. What hard-earned joy looks like, carved from the wreckage of a lifetime's worth of grief. You are not ready. You are not ready. You are not ready for the world these words might shake free. You could never understand what I am, or where so many of us are from. Are you all ready to do this? Are you all ready to go? Are you listening? Are you watching? Are you ready for tonight? Listen, these poets have absolute fire to bring you. They are going to cover things that are going to move you, that are going to inspire you, that are going to shake you up. They may cover sensitive topics. They may cover topics that might be triggering. They may cover topics that might be vulnerable, might bring things up. Listen, if you need to mute yourself, if you need to step away from your computer or your phone, you need to have someone on like close by that can support you. I want everyone to be aware of what we're stepping into right now. Take care of yourself. Be safe. Be conscious. Let's support each other. Let's cheer for each other. Right now, we are about to bring up the sacrificial poet. But before we do, I want to shout out our incredible bout manager, okay? I also want to shout out our incredible judges who you're going to hear from doing poems and the bout manager across this night. First is our bout manager, okay? Our bout manager you may have seen on NPR's Tiny Desk concert. Our bout manager has won so many slams, has a nickname called Big 30 because all this person does is gets 30s in almost every slam that she is in. She's in the same city that I'm in. I would usually see her. Maybe we'd be on the same couch watching this and hosting this if we were not in the midst of a pandemic. So she's on the other side of the city that I'm on. Atlanta, Georgia's own. Give it up for Ashley Hayes. Give it up for Ashley Hayes. Oh my goodness. Yes. When it comes to our judges, we have 3 incredible judges. Our celebrity judges are heavy hitters when it comes to the poetry scene. 3 of the most iconic, widely known, highly booked poets in the United States. First is amazing Ebony Stewart, cupcake connoisseur, side-eye queen, 5'3" giants that's been the Women of the World Poetry Slam champion, international touring poet, author, joy seeker, good juju giver. That's the truth. And an unapologetically Black woman and queer poet. Give it up for Ebony Stewart. Oh my goodness. This other poet who's an icon, National Poetry Slam champion, been in the scene forever. I feel like I've known this guy for like maybe 16 or 17 years, maybe longer. I don't even know. We've known each other for a long time. We have the same first name. We are not the same poet. He is absolutely incredible, an icon from one of the most legendary poetry slam scenes in the United States, from Charlotte, North Carolina. Again, National Poetry Slam champion, won every kind of slam you can think of. Give it up for Carlos Robeson. Give it up for Carlos Robeson. You have some like official experts in here. It's literally only legends with the judges. This is not me being hyperbolic. Okay, the final judge out of the scene in Denver, Colorado, Mercury Cafe, National Poetry Slam champion, one of the legends of the scene, another person I've known for probably 17 or 18 years, coming at us like mid-chartered private plane / missed flight in the lactation room at Seattle International Airport. Give it up for Katie Kramer! Katie Kramer! Yes, yes, yes. Oh my goodness. Okay, team, we are not officially ready to go because we need a sacrificial poet, and then we're going to dive right into it. So I hope the poets are ready. Coming up to the stage right now, one of the most incredible poets I've ever seen, our bout manager for tonight. Give it up for Ashley Hey.
Lean in. Let me tell you of a wallless church, a congregation of women in the business of saving women, who, when given the trash and the broken, refuse to think you disposable. Women who do the heavy lifting while the world gawks from the sidelines. Women who serve as a second womb for motherless children, or sometimes for grown-ass men intent on not doing their own emotional work, and we let you bask in the greatness. That is, should you be so lucky to be granted this magic, because we might side eye you to kingdom come. Might roll our eyes until you poof and disappear, and ain't that sorcery? The way our defenses protect us from the elements, from a winter of fuck boys intent on getting all of our harvest, and you so vain you think we do this for you. As if we wake up in the morning pandering to the world's gaze. As if the women of Alabama and Wakanda ain't have nothing better to do than to save men from themselves. Lean in. We save ourselves first and you get saved in the process. And ain't that the way it always goes? We get dressed in all the work we do and you are saved just by touching the hem of our garments. Black queer women create social justice movements and you make it about people who are oblivious of their own privilege, who demand we be Black first and woman when it suits them. Our intersectionality is a myth. Misogyny is a weed that grows back no matter how many think pieces you spray on it. The trouble with being the savior, though, is people don't usually think you need saving. They don't think you need gentleness. To the women, I say, I vow to be more gentle. Know that you are worthy of someone who helps you with the work. Too long we have dined with the world serving food from our own gardens on tables that we bought and built. All that I have, I owe to Black women. And here I say glory to the women who thought I was worth saving. Glory to the women who think I'm enough even on days when I fall short. I say, I see you. You be visible and you be worthy of all this praise.
Woo! Give it up for Ashley Hayes. Oh my goodness. Woo! My goodness. So I'm thinking, so what happens is the judges, the executive producer behind the scenes, Sue Boxrud from Bashuler Entertainment. Shout out to Bashuler Entertainment for making tonight possible. Sue Boxrud for so much work behind the scenes that's been invisible, thankless, unseen, that quite literally makes this all possible. What happens is she's making us all co-hosts, all the judges with me and with Ashley. So the judges are sending me the scores. And that will be tabulated. Well, actually send it to Ashley, and then Ashley will tabulate and send me the scores as we go along. While those scores are being tabulated and sent to Ashley, and Ashley will send them to me, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of the order. So poets, keep this order in your head. First, we're going to be hearing from Megan Zaley. Second, we're going to be hearing from Flora Pang. Third, we're going to be hearing from Kavu. Fourth, we're going to be hearing from Joshua Moncure. Fifth, we're going to be hearing from Maria Martinez del Carmen. Sixth, we're going to be hearing from Tejashree Jadav. Seventh, we're going to be hearing from Jamie Williams. Eighth, we're going to be hearing from Vic Kepner. Ninth, we're going to be hearing from Merm Harula. And 10th, in closing us out in the first round, we're going to be hearing from Nadia Williams. Okay, that means that next up will be Megan Zaley. Flora Peng will be on deck. We are going to cheer. Like I'm saying, if you are in your living room or your car, please, please clap. We can feel all of this. Trust me, we can feel all of this. All of this. Okay, cool. With that first score, Ashley Hayes got a 27.9. But setting us off right now, 27.9 for Ashley Hayes. And setting us off in the first round. Everybody give your love, attention. I want the first poet to get as much love and radiating energy as Nadia Williams going 10th, as Tejashree going 5th or 6th. Let's give all this love, set this off right. Everybody give it up for Megan Zaley.
All right. The boulder. I say, sometimes when I run, I feel like there's a boulder in my chest. And as I go, it picks up speed and my feet have to keep up enough to stop it from breaking through my ribs, through my skin, stop it from flying off down the shore like a beach ball in the wind. Sometimes when I see you, I want to run. I feel it bumping in there, scraping the bone from its marrow. I want so badly to run before it batters my lungs into a pulp and I can't breathe and I drown right there in front of you. I say, I went for a run today, 4 miles. You say, that's a long way. I say, yeah, I hit 7-minute pace the first mile, then 8, then 8:30, then 8 again. You say, I don't know what to say to that. You say, I'm rewatching Criminal Minds again. I say, I wish I could say something to you that grabs your attention like a thunder strike on a sunny day. I wish you knew what to say to me too. I wish I didn't feel like running away every time I see you. I wish I could stop almost breaking up with you. I wish I could break up with you in a way that wouldn't make anything change. I wish you would kiss me so that I could be the one to pull away. But every time we kiss, it's because I kissed you and you decided that you wanted to kiss me back. Not that it matters. I say, what episode are you on? You say, the one where he drowns girls he thinks are Satan's wives, and if they don't die, he kills them with these poison dresses. I say, oh, cool. I say, ... You say, ... I say, there's a boulder in my chest when I run and I have to keep up with it. You say, oh, cool. I say, and sometimes I'm afraid it'll crack me open and go flying off down the beach, and I'll take a few more staggering, stumbling steps, then collapse on the beach with my shirt open and shreds falling off my shoulders. And my chest is a hole you could bury me in, and the blood is soaking the sand, and the sea foam is pink and flecked with it, like consumptive's bubbling spit. You say, I'm rewatching Criminal Minds. I say, oh, what episode? You say, the one where he kills women. I say, that's a good one. You say, ... I say, I love you, because I call it love. Because love is hard all the time, and a choice you have to make all the time, and something you have to work for all the time. Because in my rib cage, something is rolling. Because what else could I even call it? Thank you.
Give it up for Megan Zaley setting it off right. Oh my goodness, team. Megan Zaley, I feel like there were so many poetry slams. I felt like every poetry slam I was in, I seemed to always go first. So I have a lot of empathy and respect for the person who is setting it off right. Megan Zaley, thank you. Give it up for Megan again. Next up, we have Flora Peng, and then Ka Vu is on deck. As the judges are tabulating, I'm going to say this. So I did not mention, we are handing out the title tonight of America's Best College Poet, the first ever America's Best College Poet. We will be coming back in the spring semester and doing this again to find out who the 2021 America's Best College Poet is. So for all the poets that are competing, all the poets that are watching, all the people that are watching, if you know anybody in a college or university, talk to your sister schools, talk to your rival schools, you know what I mean? Make it a bonding, community friendly competition type thing and include them. We're hoping to make this even bigger in 2021. So, and tonight also, when we name America's Best College Poet, the winner of America's Best College Poet gets the title of America's Best College Poet, and they will also get $1,500 United States, not Monopoly dollars, like actual money, which in 2020 is it's a big deal, period. But yeah, it's a big deal, or the equivalent if your institution does not allow us to give you $1,500. But if it was up to us, we would give you the $1,500. The scores are being tabulated. So let me see. We have Flora Peng on deck. We have right now. Then we have Ka Vu up next, and then Joshua, you will be after Ka Vu. Let's see. So team, yes, Megan got a 25.3. Give it up for Megan one more time. Listen, as we always say, the points are not the point. The point is poetry. That is why we're here. Coming up right now, everybody give it up for Flora Peng. Give it up for Flora Peng.
This is to the me from years ago. Child, these hands that changed your diapers, 12 years later, they're gripping tighter, moving on higher after you began to tire of asking, why are you here? Make no mistake, consent is your warden. You can decide who explores your garden, so please say, stop, this is not what love looks like. No, that is not what yes sounds like. These hands will make you crumble, so take a second to disassemble the walls you built to protect yourself. The biggest danger here is yourself. This body is yours, not your creator's. Let people in, don't be your own traitor, please. Start with, hey, not go away. You are not fine. You are not okay. And that's okay. I get it. It's easy. Lose your voice in solidarity with losing your mind out of necessity. It's easy to stop thinking, stop being, just stop. But child, when you're ready, I will teach you to talk. When you're ready, I will be who you need. I will unbury this undead voice from the graveyard of this unaborted body so no one has to grieve. Let me help you, please. I will teach you to scream. Overcompensation is not self-possession, but it is a form of self-expression, child. When you're ready, I will teach you to say fuck you to anybody who won't take their cue to leave.
Give it up one more time for Flora Pang. Give it up for Flora Pang. Oh my goodness. So up right now, we have Kavu is on deck. Joshua Moncure will be next. What I will be doing from now on, so I'll be like a remotely responsible human being and like give Ashley a little time and like also the judges to send their scores along. I'm going to announce the poet coming up right now, and then I will give the score for the poet beforehand after this poet that goes now to give us a little time. Okay, team? Coming up right now, everybody, please give all your love and energy and attention to Kavu.
I am thousands of miles away from home, and the way that I feel the word home in my body is like the war that my parents crawled through to get here. Home should be something worth defending. People like me and the home that I defend is not worth my sacrifice. People like me and the home that we defend are used to weaponize against other countries. We are used as pawns of war against people who look like terror, as if terror is not acts of war against people who seek refuge, as if terror is not war against their own people, as if terror is not invading indigenous, enslaving Africans, degrading the sacred land for gain. People will ask me what I am defending, and I say myself, from you, from people who make decisions that kill people like me. I can say home, but feeling it is different. Home to my people means displacement. It means yearning for a country that does not exist. Reminds me that to return to means that when people ask me to go back to my country or tell me or ask me where I'm really from, it means the only home I know is the ground that I was born on. The ground that I was born on doesn't know the difference between immigrant and refugee, and how could they when the displacement of both immigrants and refugees has always been the cost of the United States bullshit. I call this place home more than it calls me its inhabitant, more than it holds and embraces me in its arms. I call it home despite its efforts to erase me, evict me, murder me. But when I see home, it is not a country. It is memories frozen in time. It is his arms around me. It is the way my mom never says, I love you, but the way she puts food in front of me and says, eat. It is the way Hmong women hold the entirety of the Hmong community on their shoulders, even when they are told they are traitors to their own people for pointing out its disrespect for our lives. It is memories of manger day as a meal. It is the way I look at youth as reflections of me, as the leaders we need. And it is the way that I must learn to look at myself if my body is a home. My dad says that my jupli is slightly detached from my body. It is detached in ways I wish my mind would leave on bad days. My body should be a home for my soul, rid of traumas, but if my body is my home, it is haunted, and I refuse to vacate its ghosts. And as I dust off the rooms that I no longer visit, as I open the doors that I've kept locked, as I get rid of the objects, the memories that no longer serve me, and let go, I wonder if these ghosts disappear and I choose to vacate them. I wonder if my home will still be left standing, if I will still be left whole when they leave. Thank you.
Give it up for Kavu. One more time for Kavu. So Flora had a 23.1. We will find out Kavu's score after the next poet about to come up right now. Joshua Moncure, you are up next. On deck is Maria Martinez del Carmen. Right now, give it up for Joshua Moncure.
When you are one of 3 Black kids in a class of 200, People have certain expectations. And if there was anything my little black ass loved to do, it was hide those expectations in the wild nappy hair I was determined to tame with only a brush like the white kids. So when I was finally old enough to have friends that listened to rap music, I got as far away from that shit as I could. I told them that even though I had never played an instrument, I was really into classical music, that Lil Wayne may be making the streets hot, but my man Tchaikovsky had Moscow wheezy before the mustard gas, that Jay-Z may have had to flip packs for racks, but Beethoven was so deaf, he could only hear vibrations, so in a way, his music is the original vibe. I put so much distance between myself and the OGs that every lunchtime top 5 rapper debate became, oh please. Then I'd get on a roll like a whole cheese, tell my friends to chill like a cold breeze, get above my high horse like I OD'd and tell them Tupac's cool and all, but Bach had the best bars low key. In a school of white fish, I was so scared of being called out as an intruder. I never realized the whole time I was a barracuda, so afraid of being chained up like my ancestors that I forgot the food chain, forgot my melanin could do things, that the real hero in the night was Harriet Tubman, not Bruce Wayne. Let me tell you how I could sing. Like Diana Ross when I hit a note, a whiz when it came to my voice, but I had to ease on down the road because my choir teacher thought every show I should be the one spitting in it. And deep down, I knew it was all because I was the spitting image. I hated rap. Really all black music to be more specific. Even before our family vacation to Jamaica, my 7th grade science teacher looked at me like I shot the sheriff, a cop killing Buffalo Soldier with an African-sized chip on his shoulder, too ashamed to get up, stand up, or sing his redemption song. I hated black music. Really blackness to be more specific. The way my grandmama cooked me collard greens instead of spinach, the way they asked me how my Kwanzaa went instead of Christmas, the way anytime someone lost a pencil, their eyes screamed, I did it. I hated who I was born. I thought my skin was God teaching me a lesson. I studied English and Spanish, but was most fluent in microaggression. So afraid of being perceived a threat, I tried to ignore my weapon until I flipped the safety off and finally fired my expression. I'm black. You can tell by the shimmer of my skin or the way my words converge upon the guilt you hold within. I'm black. You can tell by the timbre of my voice or the fact that you think calling the police could be a choice. I'm black. You can tell by the tensing of your spine or the way you have to work to keep from flinching at each line. I'm black and I can rap. It's a truth I can't deny. For so long my tongue was tied, but now I finally feel alive.
Give it up for Joshua Moncure. Give it up for Joshua Moncure one more time. So Ka Vu had a 24.7 in the first round. Coming up right now, shortly, will be Maria Martinez del Carmen. On deck will be Tejashree Jadav. Give it up right now, though, for Maria Martinez del Carmen. Give it up for Maria.
My teacher asked me to participate, but I'm zoned out. Academia and elitism wash my tongue with government fluoride. Let me paint the narrative because you're only fluent in white rhetoric. Perhaps even then the translation is too blurry for you to read between the lines. I'm leaving the language of academia out of because poetry is colloquial. Call me literate. It's not controversial to say fuck or bitch when all that has ever been was broken English and inaccessibility. God forbid this model minority is literate. Be cautious. You're not allowed to make a mistake because it will be the mechanism used to define you. The English language learner classroom confines you. Poetry is the only place where expressionism transcends semantics, literary form, and punctuation. What's more dangerous than a co-opted narrative in a history teacher? My white-ass AP US history teacher believes in this document called the Constitution like it was supposed to free us or something. I'm looking around the room like, who's gonna tell him? Unable to hide my facial expressions like this man needs a new job and let us enter a revolution like the Renaissance, but call that shit woke. Everyone wants to be in a classroom full of hypocrites because Christopher Columbus was in every severity of the words a fucking colonizer. In the margins, emphasize fucking rapist. Because the president of the United States says without shame, grab him by the pussy because angles believe there's a gray area between a good person and racism. Fuck objectivity if it rationalizes fascism and white supremacy. Philosophy? Adonde? You're telling me Nietzsche's got it all solved? Don't call me fucking ungrateful because I can point out when something's not working and you hide behind it. Abolitionism, radical, your interpretation is laughable. Could you participate in class? Alrighty, if you haven't spoken yet, now would be the time. What you really mean is you're a person of color, and as a person of color, please elaborate on themes of race. What you really want to do is dissect me like a frog, watch me bleed trauma and emotion. 8 a.m. I need you to take a chill pill. The bullet was a means of physical subjugation. Language was a means of spiritual subjugation because you only have the right to bear arms if you're not Breonna Taylor's boyfriend. The only thing freeing is this poem. And so the white girl who wants to talk and gossip about Malcolm X after not saying shit in class, I don't expect anything else. Why would you engage with race? I see the bullshit rising from your throat, your blushed face. If it meant the way you embrace whiteness is by having the audacity to speak about it in the lounge. Your silence is uncomfortable. No, bitch. The disapproving stance in your way should make you uncomfortable. Rather, another word that she finna catch these hands translates to is, there something I can help you with? So the white guy who wants to play devil's advocate, yo, that fragile masculinity is astronomical. Your dick doesn't grow alongside your ego. Why doesn't she ever wave back? Sweetheart, I don't know you. People of color are not fucking Pokemon. Although you like to pretend you can catch us all. In many ways, you caught us. Maria. Oh, I'm sorry, Professor. What was the question?
Give it up one more time for Maria del Carmen Martinez. Maria Martinez del Carmen. So Joshua Moncure got a 25.4. Coming up right now will be Tejashree Jadhav in a second, shortly. On deck is Jamie Williams. But right now, give it up for Tejashree Jadhav. Give it up for Tejashree.
Once upon a time, there was a village girl. She was a rebel, the one who didn't settle for less, the one who nobody could ever mess with. The girl had the strength of mountains. She excelled in school, won hearts and minds of people around her. But when she came back home, reality hit different. She was poor. And in her one-room mud house, the one which had holes and rain sipped into their glasses of water, more often than not, they didn't know where their next meal would come from, or if it even would. When she was 16, her family arranged her marriage. Her sister already married off at 14. The girl left her beloved village even before her 10th grade scores came in. She dropped out of school, moved to the city with her husband, and however disturbing the turn of events, they proved quite lucky for me. For 9 years later, this girl became my mother. My eye, as I call her. My eye is the storm that has stood strong through thick and thin. And sometimes I can't imagine how her life to date has been. She gave birth to 4 annoying children. I, the third, her favorite. My eye asks me 5 times in a day if I've eaten. Thinks that food could fix my mental health ups and downs. My eye has a pet crow she feeds biscuits to every morning. 10 a.m. The crow is outside on the tree. My eye is the person I can never be. The care of oceans, the warmth of bonfires. If I were my eye right now, I would have been married at 16. At 18, had a baby in my hands and another one expecting, the way I did. My eye lived the life nobody would particularly want to. And with a 4th child, my brother, she stood in the face of Yamdev, the god of death, but came back because she had a lot to teach us about the ways of this world. The woman that my eye is, I can never be, but the woman that she has made me honors the battles of my eye. The battles she never talks about up front, but as though they were tiny tales of childhood, but we know my eye raised her 3 daughters to thrive in a world that didn't treat her right. My eye is the Wonder Woman, the fighter I can never be, but the woman she has made me to be will always admire what she is. She is a sacrifice, a legend, a feminist, a mother, my mother. Thank you.
Give it up one more time for Tejashree Jadhav. Maria Martinez del Carmen got a 25.3. Coming up next will be Jamie Williams. On deck will be Vic Kepner. Right now, give it up for Jamie Williams. Give it up for Jamie.
During my sophomore year in college, after English 1002, this overprivileged girl from Danville dared to stretch her paper-thin lips and try turning my city into nothing more than a black bird on his deathbed. She said she never stops in Richmond. She just drives past on her way to school because it is too dangerous. And until this day, there's an ocean of anger inside of my chest, wishing I looked her dead in the eyes and said, my city is not a buckshot loaded into the barrel of a shotgun. Richmond is the city of pride and purpose that you do not get to deem worthless. Richmond is not the raven on his deathbed about to croak. Rather, it's the black smoke dancing on top of the bonfire as if there's no tomorrow. Yes, my city knows sorrow. It has mastered the art of holding death and progress in the same damn breath. Heard the thunderclap of bullets raining on Cutting Boulevard, rinsed the blood off of his fingertips, and never even had a moment to mourn, because in the morning it had to become the sun pulling apart the night sky like blinds to reveal a brand new day. Richmond is a place of praise, y'all. It's the loudest hallelujah that should leap from your lips. It's the alarm clock buzzing in your brain, letting you know it's time to wake up. Richmond is made up of melanin and stardust, and blood, and bones. So I call it home to the future's biggest protest, because Richmond looks a lot like a revolutionary at rest. My city is a pulsing heart, the size of a black power fist, doused in the flames of being forgotten. My city knows how to be forgotten, knows how to tuck itself inside itself. But ain't that all the hood is anyway? Two sides of the same city, two sets gunning at each other like there isn't a common enemy, like there isn't a multitude of institutions constructed to carry black bodies into cages or coffins. So the moment I walk into these public schools, I refuse to see a violent crime rate 138% higher than the national average. I choose to see a body of black and brown students with pebbles of hope thrown so far down their well-shaped hearts that it is hard to walk on the asphalt without hearing it calling your name. And until this day, I wish I told that girl from Danville that Richmond looks a lot like the moon, constantly going through cycles of its own rebirth. Better yet, it is a phoenix rising from its own ashes, ready to reclaim itself, ready to rename itself as something that never has to die on the tongue of those who refuses to see its infinite beauty. Say it with me, y'all. Richmond.
Give it up for Jamie Williams. Give it up one more time for Jamie Williams. Tejashree got a 26.1. Coming up next will be Vic Kepner. On deck will be Merm Harula. Right now, though, give it up. First round, 8th poet. Give it up for Vic Kepner.
It shocks me to learn how proud people are of their family history, that they have a family tree rooted in pride instead of misery. When my ancestors came here, they sought to leave behind their misfortune, but we were already so tangled with tragedy, it followed us from sea to shining sea, the core of our family tree already rotting. Some families brought over legacies, and I wouldn't be surprised if ours was methamphetamines. PTSD isn't supposed to be genetic, yet it's as common in my siblings as our blue eyes. I wonder if the eyes also pass along what they've seen. No one knows much about my family history. Whatever physical evidence left behind died with their bodies buried in unmarked and forgotten graves, last names seen as simply an Irish relic, and I know no one is proud of whatever we did find, because all that was found was impoverished houses reeking of abuse and addiction, with hard childhoods and suicidality being as common as blonde hair was. I think my cousin carries the Confederate flag because at least they stood for something. to be remembered fighting on the wrong side of the war rather than off to the sides doing nothing because at least they got remembered. He would rather be remembered as a bigot than as part of this family. I went the opposite direction, decided to go against every bone of my Southern lineage and become a radical left, Ronald Reagan hating lesbian. They just simply ignore it. Because I guess it's worse than siding with the Confederacy. They prefer the 10-year-old girl who went to church every Sunday and vowed to marry a rich man, the one who was supposed to make up for all the bad apples and produce some good seeds, the one who was supposed to grow into something besides good for nothing. My family ached for me to be significant, to bring something more to our name than rotting corpses, to my suicide to be considered as tragic for more than just their coffins, because they still don't think I'll make it to 30. Some barely think I'll make it to 20. They just hope I make something of myself first. They know even if I have my father's last name, it won't erase the poisonous blood inside me, a family created by hateful marriages, rooted in torrid affairs and rotting with addictions, kids birthed from the need to prove people wrong, fathered by the rehabs of America, and abandoned by the need to succumb to what's running in your veins. I don't know if I can create anything they'll be proud of. I can only produce art from the shattered pieces I was given, none of it ever beautiful, simply just chunks of depressive episodes glued together and called a poem. None of my family likes to read much. It's probably for the best. All the pieces I was given are still sharp enough to leave cuts, and I don't think they'd walk out of this unscathed.
Give it up one more time for Vic Kepner. Vic Kepner. Beautiful people, we have 2 poets left in the first round, okay? Up next is Merm Harula. On deck is Nadia Williams. I feel like we just started and somehow we're like almost done with the first round. Jamie Williams got a 26 even. And but coming up right now, first round, second to last poet in the first round. Give it up, keep the energy up. I want the last 2 poets to get the same energy we gave the first 2 poets, the last 8. Give it up for Merm Harula.
Have you ever physically vomited? Before you physically vomit, you feel like shit, your stomach hurts, you probably have a high fever, and your body aches. When you need to emotionally vomit, all your feelings come to the front. They all bubble at the pit of your stomach, slowly rising through your throat, causing your heart to burn and your soul to dissipate. You think about every single thing you've done. You think about the time you tried to play with a boy in the first grade and he intentionally hurt you. And you still think it's your fault for the violence and stalking that happened afterward. And the fear that wells up inside of you that all boys will be like that. Then you turn on social media and Kavanaugh's face is everywhere saying, I didn't do it, just like that boy in first grade. I didn't do it. When you finally vomit physically, it feels like a release. You are at the apex of your misery. You are not in control. But when you vomit emotionally, you can't help but to get all of those feelings out to whoever is nearby, talking about whatever is on your mind, or send the I'm sorry for the way that I'm feeling about you text, because they didn't know how you felt about what was happening, let alone what was happening in the first place. All the while you write this, all you can think about is every single time this person has ignored you or made you feel like you didn't deserve to have a relationship with any other human being. Then all you get is a one-word answer for the feelings that he has made you feel. Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to do it. And again, this is another boy. Will this happen every time? I'm sweaty, out of breath, vulnerable. Afterward, it's the same physically and emotionally. It is a feeling of apathy. Nothing can go wrong in this moment, for everything has already gone wrong. Exhaustion from the amount of energy that was put forth, all the energy that was released, the feeling of wanting to go to sleep. Whether it is the cool feeling of the tile floor against your hot, feverish cheek, or the warmth of a bed, or even in public. Or in my dorm room after writing such a long message with over 3 weeks of emotions, trying not to hit a limit of characters to send. This isn't fucking Twitter. Let me send all the characters I need to get my feelings out so he can finally hear what I have to say, because he ignores me otherwise, unless I'm screaming in his face, blunt and as forward as I can be, spelling it out for him, word for word, letter by letter, sound by sound. Because he didn't even realize what he was doing to me by his unconscious actions that somehow overtake me and engulf my entire being, because I care. I care too much about him and what he thinks because I feel like he's not like the others. He'll own up to it. I didn't mean to do it and admit that he did wrong. I didn't do it. He did the wrong actions and he hurt me. Listen to me say it. You hurt me. Thank you.
Give it up for Merm Harula. Give it up again for Merm Harula. Wow. So Vic Kepner got a 25.1. We will find out Merm Harula's score after this next poet, who happens to be the final poet in the first round. And from these 10, we're going to have 7 go on to the second round. But right now, give it up. I want the same energy we gave to Megan Zaley opening things up, and Maria Martinez del Carmen going 5th right in the middle. Give it up for Nadia Williams.
Sat in a room across from my principal and the girl who set my head on fire. She gave me wet apologies, but it can never give me back those minutes of my life being held in her hands. 7 days of suspended sorries just to say it was an accident, feeling the scattering flames on my scalp melanin, nightmares and scriptures knotted in the pit of my stomach. The boogeyman ain't a monster no more, nah. She wears 22-inch Brazilian and carries a lighter. Mental breakdowns before school every morning, collecting the ash ego I had left. I can't shake the terror of another fire roaring my way. Depression and its diagnosis, as if a fire rising in my lineage wasn't traumatic enough to be PTSD. Anxiety in my stuttering palms each time mama twists my bantu not to smoke her Newports when I smell smoke. A nervous twitch in my neck when I see the flicker of that color kush crystal of flame. Mama said, baby girl, it'll be all right. Just a little sulfate patience. Mama Mason John my tears. In my mama's arms, I almost forget my life was on fire. Mama wanted the arsonist to bruise, to deteriorate into oblivion, like my curls, like my smile. I remember pressing my palms to my eyes to protect them from the murmuring of the spasm igniter, crouching down not to ascend out of my ashes like a phoenix. All in a matter of seconds, her hands made a disfigured rainbow, and my body reeked of pocket change engulfed in coin coiled curls. She set fire to my face and my fro. She watched me helplessly burn. I watched her wash the sin off her fingertips. I watched her beg for forgiveness as if she deserved it. She still recites sorry like she didn't almost kill me, like she didn't turn me into a burning cross. My life was not hers to mutilate. My life was not hers to contemplate. My veins still gnarls at the sight of fire's runway and open hallways where fear and fire met center stage. But it seems the crowd finally dies down, and hopefully the inferno within won't frighten me anymore. Deep breaths turn to poems, and here we are in the midst of my Black girl magic. I am a standing mural in honor of the cinders that couldn't choke me, a witch that wouldn't molder at the stake by your apologetic accidents. I learned in isolation to lull my trauma to sleep. Surviving was my incantation. And in trauma, my Black girl magic healed my second and third degree burns. Beautiful battle scars from the cauldron that couldn't cook me. And maybe one day her wet apologies could put out the fire in my memory. But for now, this poem will fan the fire out for the world to see. Thank you.
Give it up for Nadia Williams. Give it up for Nadia Williams closing out the first round. Woo! Team, do you all feel like you need to catch your breath? Can everyone just stretch for a second? Just like take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Oh my goodness. Wow. I love seeing everybody's bout fits. For those who don't know, for big moments like this, we put on bout fits. They're the outfits we wear to our bout. I love seeing everyone like all dressed up. This is like the closest we can do, I guess, right now to having a reason to dress up, I guess. But yeah, shout out to everybody in their bout fits. So Merm Harula got a 25.7, which interestingly and coincidentally enough was the same score that Nadia Williams just got, also a 25.7. If you all are keeping track at home, this is absurdly close. Anyone who advances to the second round could win America's College Poet. And I'm going to guess that whoever advances to the final round of 5, the third and final round, all 5 of them will have a shot to win America's Best College Poet. So stay tuned, team. Give it up for our bout manager again, Ashley Hayes. Brilliant, talented, amazing Ashley Hayes, who's doing all the calculus behind the scenes. You may know her as a poetic savant. She's also a mathematical savant as well. But we're also going to give her some humanity here and some time to crunch numbers. So we have a real treat right now. It's wild because I'm on the roster with poets that I genuinely love and also admire, and just who also happen to be some of the best poets alive on planet Earth. And you are going to hear from one of them right now, coming straight live and direct from Tejas, unless she, went to Puerto Rico or something, which has not been confirmed. It's Ebony Stewart, so it's possible. Give it up right now, sharing a poem with us while we tabulate those scores and find out who goes to the second round. Give all your love and attention to the one and only cupcake connoisseur, Women of the World Poetry Slam champion, Ebony Stewart.
What up? Major shout outs to Carlos. We love you so much. Thank you for putting this whole thing together with the idea first and foremost. You need all that love, dog. Yeah, I'm an artist, which also means I'm a creator since I create things. A storyteller since I have stories to tell. A visionary, I write about where I've been. These poems act as self-help. I'm a healer. Not always for myself, but one time a kid told me he almost killed himself, but he heard one of my poems and decided to keep living. And from that day forward, I was like, today is a good day to keep someone alive. People ask me how I did it or how they should do it. And I'm not sure if they're asking me about the kid or themselves. What I've come to learn is, ain't nobody tell when I'm not doing well but me. I get to travel across the country and do poems for a living like that's my job. And out of 50 states, I performed in 47 of them. I read an article that said only 20% of people in the US are doing what they love, or whatever sad statistic it was. And I was like, my God, ain't damn nothing in me. I'm doing exactly what I've always wanted to do. So I must be blessed. Must be exemplifying all this miracle. I am stressed and winning. I look at and update my curriculum vitae daily and I be like, damn, I'm surprised I even knew how to say that word. And ain't nobody wish nothing bad on me but me. Like everything I ever wanted, I manifested at the end of each meditation. I asked the universe to make me undeniably enough. And people be mad happy when I show up. One time, I performed for 200,000 people and I didn't throw up. It was so cool and exhausting. Did you know? I could touch what feels like a million people's energy and help them feel seen, but go back to my hotel room feeling so fulfilled yet lonely. Yeah, it's amazing. Another time, I thought I was gonna marry this guy I had been with for like 6 years out of my life, but he said he hated my lifestyle, even though this is my life's work, because my work means I'm never home. But every time I came back, he was gone as an emotionally unavailable, mentally abusive. I have extreme PTSD from that unhealthy relationship, but someone asked me to do that one poem about that one time where I made him mine. May you find a lover that helps you love yourself. May you find a lover that doesn't require you to give more to them than you have to give to yourself. Did I mention I paid off my student loans with poetry? Can't nobody tell me I'm not the shit but me. I get so sad sometimes. I think I'm losing my mind, and I must be, since I enrolled in graduate school last May. I guess I returned to my oppressor. I am whoever I think I am, but I wish being a good person paid more. I heard it's the wounds that people can't see that hurt the most, but I've seen sunsets that look like somewhere tomorrow. My heart is on fire, so I'm Jason the day. At night, I don't sleep, I grind. I've been in my prime like 9 times. I got so much love I give and keep giving. I have so much advice that are really opinions, or maybe they're just hard facts I haven't hardly learned yet. Did you know that people ask me how I'm doing by also commenting on my weight? And here I am, some foolish somebody that didn't actually hate the way they look today, but you right, girl. Must be the depression. But I'm the kind of giant that's been through what I've been through and you could still depend on. I gave all that I had, and you ain't never known a Black woman who ain't did that. My friends call on me when they're down and out, just in need. And what good is a God that can't speak life into somebody? Check on your strong friends. Check on your strong friends. Check on your strong friends. Don't believe us. I promise we're pretending. Have you ever tried to tell someone you're not okay and they're like, you're good, and you're like, but I'm not. And they're like, you got this. And you're like, but actually I don't. And they're like, keep going. And you're like, okay, thanks. You're right. I could do this with my eyes closed. I get so overwhelmed that One time I was drowning and screaming, but everybody thought I was laughing and swimming. I died in that dream, and then I woke up on an airplane flying to a different country to do poetry. And I thought, my God, ain't damn nothing in me. I'm doing exactly what I've always wanted to do. I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed that my life is crazy. My heart is racing. I'm probably dehydrated. You know, traveling does awful things to the body, but the one thing I could tell you about being successful is that you have to love what you're doing. Can't nobody steal my joy. Can't nobody steal my joy, not even myself. I heard or someone said, if your path is more difficult, it's because your calling is higher. So I say I be hero and legend. Nobody built like me, I design myself. But every time I climb, my community get co-signed. Divinity defined. She is to the most high. I just pray I leave something good behind. Thank y'all so much. And great job.
My gosh. Give it up for Ebony Stewart. My goodness. I'm not lying, team, about tonight. about these judges, about these poets, about what's happening right here. Oh my goodness. Goosebumps. I love that comment that I read in the chat. Who said this? Oh yeah, Maria said, the fact that we can feel on a virtual platform. I have to say, this is one thing that I have to say. I know all of the, I know enough about the judges. I know them well enough to say this. We've done like hundreds, thousands of shows in person. And I know that like for a fact, this will never replace in-person shows, period. But I have to say, I'm enjoying the possibilities of what I've experienced on the virtual platform with Zoom and whatever else so much more than I thought I would. And I've gotten goosebumps and I've gotten emotional and I felt what I felt when Ebony was performing and Ashley was performing, you know, like to feel all that, the possibilities here. I know it's a strange, terrifying, difficult, relentless moment to do anything. And I just feel the gift of right now and tonight, and I'm so grateful for all of you. We are about to find out who is going to the second round. And is it cool? Can I turn to you, Ashley? Ashley's going to reveal the poets moving on to the next round.
Yes, I have information. First, congratulations to all the poets. You can say and put on your resume that you are a finalist in America's Best College Poet. That is no small feat. Congratulations. Unfortunately, it is a competition or whatever, and we do have rules. And so we do have to say goodbye to 3 people. And those 3 people who did awesome jobs were Vic, Ka, and Flora. But we thank you. We always applaud the poets and not the scores. And in round 2, you will hear from, in this order, Maria, Megan, Joshua, Nadia, Merm, Jamie, and Tejashree. So Megan, you're on deck. Maria, you are next. Carlos, I'm sending this to you, and back to you.
Amazing. Give it up one more time for Ashley Hayes. My gosh, give it up for Ashley Hayes. I'm telling you, talk about like a thankless, like vital role that's often invisible in any event like this. If there is not somebody bout managing, you can't do this unless you're, you have like a photographic memory and you're a math genius, which I'm neither of those things. So shout out to Ashley Hayes. So like Ashley said, we often say there's an expression in Poetry Slam, the best poets rarely win poetry slams or America's Best College Poet or poetry competitions. Often the expression goes that the best poets get knocked out in the first round. Shout out to Ka, to Vic, and to Flora. Clap for them again, Ka, Vic, and Flora. You are in here tonight. You are forever a finalist for America's Best College Poet. And like I said, again, we will be back in the spring in 2021, and it's a whole new game. But coming up right now, we are going to hear from next in a second, shortly, Maria Martinez del Carmen. Megan Zaley is on deck. Please, team, second round. We want to keep this energy at the ceiling. We want to not have this tightrope droop at all. We want to keep it tight and taut the whole time. Give it up for second round, setting it off. Give it up for Maria Martinez del Carmen.
Bobby brews the first cup at 5 in the morning. If the aroma didn't wake me, their fighting would. Mommy used to say, even if they ran out of love, we'd never run out of café. Chocolate café is to greet your family members with a kiss on the cheek. All we had left was coffee beans, letters, and Mommy's Western Union form. I helped her fill up. As a first year, I found myself brewing coffee at 5 a.m. Mommy helped me fill up. I shriveled up in my dorm room. Mommy, I can't do it anymore. Trying to recreate the smell of home that would embrace me like Mommy would. I sip a cup of nostalgia. It's bitter. Papi's nicotine addiction, la revolución. It's been 61 years, but I never forget. Papi passes a cigar to his compadres, a communion. Mommy fills the tacita with café por los anticos, like you pour one out for the homies, brewed and molded with a Cuban identity, a touch of nationalism like the sacrament. Now you are the body of Christ, and each one of us is a part of it. Mommy takes the tobacco into her mouth and exhales a prayer with brevity. Para Chango, para tu abuela, Lego, because when the rations weren't enough, la vecina de lao fue generosa con nosotros. Mommy says, los americanos son frío, they're cold. The coffee is enough to burn their tongues before they tear ours out. Although sewn together, we make sense of it to Portuguese, Spaniards. Oh, the hypocrisy. The exchange is foreign to me. I am foreign to them. Not American enough, so we put a hyphen between Cuban and American. And Mommy and Papi didn't know what it was to be Hispanic or Latino until you made him fill out the census form. Un café amargo, it leaves the aftertaste, but un cafecito, right? You keep importing that shit and socializing that shit, but you're lacking that authenticity. The farmers at home are struggling to eat the Yankees. Oh, Mommy said these are Yankee candles. They can't produce the smell of home, yellow whiteness with café con leche by gringo, and it becomes easier to swallow it. You made us swallow it. You can't find it at your local Starbucks. Pero Ciudadano sí lo tiene a $1.99. Let's sugarcoat what happened under Santiago, the Spanish-American War, Nuestra America. The U.S. chains, Cubans still fields were filled with sugarcane. Your whiteness, abuelo could smoke his cigars with the boys and deliberate trade agreements, so your kids can reduce us to references of Tony Montana. Mommy never lets me brew the coffee because it's too bitter. Ahora te lo tomas amargo. Now I am bitter. This way you can't sugarcoat history, hide behind cognitive dissonance. Ahora te lo tomas amargo. I don't have much sugar to give when you've taken it all.
Give it up one more time for Maria. Give it up for Maria. My goodness, setting off the second round right. Next up is Megan Zaley. On deck is Joshua Moncure. But right now, second in the second round. Give it up for Megan Zaley.
Blue sky. I know that it rains, just can't remember the last time it did. Can't remember a time that wasn't blue skies and pulled cotton clouds. It's a never-ending blue and a never-ending road, and the semis we pass are never marked, but always trustworthy, in the way that big things tend to look trustworthy. We're fighting against their slipstream, fighting against the urge to drift into the side of those unmarked corrugated steel trailers full of unmarked things. There's another slipstream, an omnipresent slipstream, pulling cars off the road and onto the shoulder, off the shoulder, and into the ditch, out of the ditch, and into the blue that is the blue sky and pulled cotton clouds. I'm glad they're gone. I know it rains. I remember rain. I just can't recall the most recent rain. Must not have rained recently. That must be it, even though the road is wet. The road is wet, but I can't remember the last time it rained. Must not be rain on the road. There's a dead deer on the side of the road, blinking. It chases us for a while before collapsing into bones. All dead deer must rest. The dead deer becomes a bloody smudge, becomes a reddish blur, becomes a dead speck, is devoured by the blue that is the blue sky and pulled cotton clouds. I'm glad it's gone. The blue that gets closer the faster we go, and closer the slower we go, always getting closer. I can barely see the road now, the wet road. Does it even rain over the road? I can't remember the last time it rained. I can't remember the last time it. Do you ever feel like you're caught in a loop? Like you've said what you've said before? There's a dead deer by the side of the road. Is it hot in here? I feel hot. The deer is a smudge, a blur, a speck, devoured. I'm sorry. I'm not usually car sick. It's just I can't remember the last time it rained. I can't remember the last time it. Aren't roads supposed to have a shoulder? It's hard to see now. The sky keeps getting in the way. The sky that is the blue sky and pulled cotton clouds. It feels slick on the road, like we're hydroplaning. And why won't you stop looking at me? Like it's wet, like it's rained. What's rain again? I can't see the steering wheel. We must have cracked a window, let the sky in, the sky that is the blue sky, and pulled cotton clouds. And why are you looking at me like that? Like I'm a dead deer, like I'm a smudge, a blur, a speck, like I'm being devoured by the blue that is the blue sky and pulled cotton clouds. I can't feel the steering wheel or my feet or my lips. I'm glad they're gone. I only feel blue, the blue that is the blue sky and pulled cotton clouds.
Give it up one more time for Megan Zaley. Give it up for Megan Zaley. All right, so really quickly, I noticed on the on her name, it was a little different than what I had on my sheet, so I wanted to correct it. Names are very important to me. Maria del Carmen Martinez. Either way, it's an incredible name, an incredible artist name, poet name, artist name. Maria del Carmen Martinez got a 24.8 for her second round poem. We will find out what Megan Zaley got after this next poet that's going to come up. Next up is Joshua Moncure. On deck is Nadia Williams. Team, you are absolute fire. You are bringing it. Keep having fun. Keep cheering for each other. Let's make sure we keep the energy up right now. Give it up one more time. Second round poem. Give it up for Joshua Moncure.
Lately, I've been thinking of identifying as past tense. Apparently, there's nothing I can do to stop myself from terrorizing the future. Just the other day, I was walking to class and stumbled upon some keys on the sidewalk. The woman who dropped them was 20 feet away, so I started calling to her and waving my arms desperately, trying to get her attention because lost keys are a now kind of issue. Her prejudice knocks her neck 180 degrees like it's her first day at Soccer Mom Fight Club, and she sees this sun-bleached oil spill threatening to soil her blouse, waving serrated steel wrapped in velvet stilettos and avarice connected to fingers so acquainted with death. They are the executors of his will, a nose big enough to make its eyes strangers to its hand, a pigment so bonded to light, darkness must be missing a father figure. And she stops. And her muscles harden like clay in a cast iron kiln, and she backpedals. And the entire time, words are coming out of my mouth. Words I was so sure contained meaning. Words are coming out of my mouth. Words are coming out of my barrel. Shrapnel is coming out of my words as they shatter upon porcelain. Words are like bullets if their origin is gunpowder. Her cheeks blush a bright rosy braille. Digits tattooed in blood, only visible when her eyebrows are evicted and move in with her scalp. Words are coming out of my mouth. She's heard enough. When a keychain with a furry red rabbit's foot becomes a weapon of mass destruction, Armageddon rolls off the tongue like 911. Whoever thought it was a good decision to pierce the nuclear launch codes to the tip of every white tongue? I have no idea, but I hear the sirens. I've seen the videos. I've heard the excuses. Hiroshima, violence can be humane. Nagasaki, the targets weren't rational. Ferguson, Minneapolis, Kenosha, we had no choice. A black boy's imagination, we couldn't risk it. A black boy's imagination, I saw it in his eyes. A black boy's imagination, sooner or later, is killing a black boy's imagination. How long ago did you murder my imagination? The other day, being became a now kind of issue. And honestly, I doubt I'll be safe in the past tense, but even if you think the future looks bright, it sure as hell doesn't look black.
Give it up one more time for Joshua Moncure. Give it up one more time. Second round, Joshua Moncure. Megan Zaley got a 24.4 for Megan's second round poem. We are going to find out what Joshua Moncure got after this next poet. Up next is Nadia Williams. Merm Harula is on deck. Let's keep the energy up. I know we have a lot of poems tonight, but I'm enjoying and being moved and getting goosebumps on every single one. I'm hoping there are multiple ties. I'm hoping people have to read 7 more poems after the third round. Coming up right now, keep the energy up. Give it up for a second round poem from Nadia Williams.
To be white in America is to set the fire and hide the gasoline and matches. It's to get a hot meal after a mass murder. It's to have the right to be peacefully detained, to go home to your family, to be a misunderstood teen. To be white in America is being able to eat Skittles, wear hoodies, play music loud, love yourself, love your lover in broad daylight, be white in broad daylight, be alive in broad daylight or at night, whichever is convenient for your privilege. To be white in America is to be unqualified but still get the job. To be white is to put your blonde hairs on anything and call it something different. And that's called American, called America, where you Columbus your way over the blood, sweat, and tears of the indigenous people you exploit for your own profit and privilege. To be white in America is to be sorry that your ancestors enslaved my ancestors, but still want me to get over slavery. Still want me to get over the fact that Flint still ain't got no clean water and say it ain't about race. To be white in America is to be the first to know and the first to be evacuated. To be white in America is to be the master, never noticing how often you use your whip because your system of privilege protects you. To be white in America is to be pure cocaine, summer homes, and horror movies. The last to die, but the first to trip over nothing. To be white in America is to have your rapists, pillaging, land stealing heritage as the core curriculum, and mine is just the shortest month out of the year. To be white is to have choices, to be indecisive without being called lazy or irresponsible, to exist without fear. How does that feel? To be carefree, so carefree that your ignorance shields you from your own privilege, so carefree that your mother can sleep at night, that you too can dream without your white body feeling dead, unwanted, but the most used is refuge. You are the patient in the hospital with a cold, ignoring my gun wound. The house that did not burn but wants to get watered too. The America ignoring my Holocaust. You are a vermin, a cancer that must be exterminated. How does it feel to be white?
Give it up one more time for Nadia Williams. Let me see. Joshua Moncure got a 25.9 for his second round poem. We are going to find out what Nadia Williams got after the next poet coming up right now. Next, we have Merm Harula. On deck is Jamie Williams. Right now, team, second round poem. Give it up for them. Give it up for Merm Harula.
Talafa solopito lo'o ainga. September 28th, 2009. A day I will never forget. The day my people will never forget. The day the world grieved and empathized with my people for the first time. A day over 100 people died in a country of a few thousand. A day where most were children. My mother comes from a small group of islands in the South Pacific, but if I were to tell you its name, you would give me one of 3 responses. Where is that? Like the Girl Scout cookie? Is that how you pronounce these responses ringing in my ear? Like the church bells heard throughout my village of Potasi, where colonizers came and did what they do best. Colonize, destroy, demonize who I am and who I love, and knowing that before he came, we had rituals and ceremonies of love, and less exposing our vulvas, loving our bodies and each other, without fear of persecution for saying "Otia lofa yati oi" to the wrong person. But now lava covers us, wrapped around our waists as chains wrap around my neck, holding me in the place of what we know as woman. I said he. because it was he who came into my family and took lands from those we call woe, bartering unfairly because Samoans were stupid and didn't know what they were doing, trading a knife that would break for 3 or 4 acres of land forever, chicken and cattle for the parangi weapons. My family has land from the ancestors who come before me. Fafatai, 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 ainga. But land also comes from his manipulation, his lack of empathy, greed for power, wrath for my people, lust for the women of the village, pride for his findings, gluttony for the land, envy for the Matai held power, held everything for the villages and families. But he wanted it, and he grabbed it. And now church bells ring throughout our lands, and the hymns of the white God are sung. And me, in the diaspora, can only sing. Savali Valley means go for a walk. Tala means too much talk. Alofayate means I love you. Take it easy, fi lemu. Thank you.
Give it up one more time for Merm Harula. Nadia Williams got a 26.5 for her second round poem. We're going to find out what Merm Harula got after this next poet. We are somehow we are down to the last 2 poets in the second round, and we're going to find out who's going to the third and final round of America's Best College Poets. Up next is Jamie Williams, and then closing out the second round is Tejashree Jadhav. Right now, though, give it up. Second round poem. Give it up for Jamie Williams.
My toes taste the cold currents before I realize that I am standing black and barefoot in a wasteland of water. And looking back, I realized that the waves carried me here without consent. Yet nevertheless, I continue to call this ocean home. And here, I hear barracudas biting into bones for breakfast. I see sharks sharpening their jaws, fouling their fangs with the remains of decrepit skeletons. You see, the sea is a dangerous place. It is the bloodiest of whirlpools where fish who share my features replace their name with the word lunch. Lawless lagoon where the mighty sand dollar reigns supreme. But today, even though I'm not that good of a swimmer, the skin on my feet dared me to go deeper into its depths. And I almost did, y'all, only stopping after I heard the voice of death. The reaper looks a lot like a riptide. Hatred bubbles out his throat before he threatens to sink me. In a familiar tone that sounds a lot like genocide, he says, "Boy, I will swallow you whole like I did your ancestors." So make no mistake, the waves were a warning, and I will drown you in a watery grave if you ever forget your place, if you ever forget that this ocean was never made for your kind. And the irony being that the brine of this country is salty with black blood. This country is a ship, y'all. A ship enslaving my security, its cargo as it sails away. A ship that will smash my self-worth and leave it scattered on the shore like flotsam. If only Black bodies could breathe underwater, then we build Atlantis in the name of our ancestors. If only this ocean was kind to my kin, then for the first time, Black bodies would buoy because of freedom. If only there was an oasis of acceptance in America.
Give it up for Jamie Williams, second round poem. Second to last poet in the second round. We have one poet left. Merm Harula got a 25.1 for their second round poem. We have one poet left. Like I said, from these incredible 7 poets in the second round, we are going to bring 5 to the third and final round and find out. First ever inaugural for the rest of time when you're 87 years old on the porch, sipping your sweet tea with Ebony, Los, Ashley, Katie, and I. And Sue's going to be there too. And everybody from Bashula, we're going to be sitting there sipping, sweet teas with too much sugar in them because we're in the South. And you're going to say, remember when I was America's Best College Poet 57 years ago? And I'm going to say, yeah, I do remember that night. Closing us out right now, really quickly. I guess I have the score for Jamie. Jamie Williams got a 26.3. 26.3 for Jamie Williams, last poet in the second round. Give it up, all your love, all your attention, like it's the first poet in the second round, first round in the first round, first poet in the first round. Give it up for Tejashree Jadhav. Give it up for Tejashree.
Every month, I have a lovely interaction with the chemist. As I leave my house, I think of how he will greet me today. I walk towards his store. He looks at me, a tiny grin, eyebrows raised a bit, I raise mine too. He's calculating, anticipating, what do I want from him today? I bring the 50 rupee note from my rare pants, which surprisingly have pockets, and slide it on the counter. And he knows. In that moment, everything falls into place. My hunched back, my hand on my stomach, raised eyebrows, but no greetings. He knows before I say it. I want pads. He bends down to get it from the shelf. He knows the brand. Sometimes I think he knows me better than most of your exes ever did. You see, I'm an Indian girl. Those things aren't allowed. And you're probably thinking which one of the two. But being an Indian means relationships are a no-no, but so is menstruating. So my guy, the chemist, pulls out the sanitary pads and brings the Times of India newspaper and wraps it around the blue pack so that nobody, I repeat, nobody finds out that an 18-year-old girl is in so much pain you do not want to mess with her. That an 18-year-old is going through the biological factor which forms the basis of all's existence. That which must never be named, seen, spoken about, always hushed, whispered in hallways, tabooed, that some bleed every month of their regular human lives. Meanwhile, I'm still looking at the guy, the chemist. I do not take his nicely hidden sanitary pads, but I stare for 30 more seconds until he realizes, because he's done this before, and I've told him before. You see, he knows his customers well. So he removes the newspaper wrapped around the pads and hands me bare the tool of my oppression. I take it with a smile from him. We raise eyebrows. Me in my mind thinking he hopefully opens the same newspaper after I leave and spots all the crime against menstruating individuals. I walk my way home, wishing that with every walk I take home every month with unwrapped sanitary pads, those on the street who bleed like me find the strength to do it too. And those who don't bleed but find gross my mere existing, creepy weirdos, please ask your mother how you were born.
Give it up. One more time for Tejashree Jadhav closing out the second round. My goodness, team. Woo! I think one thing that I love most about a night like tonight is just the range of voices, of styles, of aesthetics, of stories, of things that people are thematically reckoning with and wrestling with and excavating and holding up to the light. I feel like, I know this is controversial. I say it, I've said this at a lot of my virtual shows, and some with faculty on there who I think roll their eyes. But if you want to hear about what I learned most, like the most important learning I did in college and university was nights like tonight. I know I may lose invitations to a lot of colleges because I'm saying that, but that's the truth. I mean, that's a true story, right? If you ask me what I remember in college, their entire years of classes I don't remember, but nights like tonight I remember, and they continue to move in my body and shape and impact who I am. Tejashree closed out the second round with a 26.1. Clap for all the poets. Clap for all 10 poets who started tonight. We're about to have half that many going into the second round. Give it up one more time for our incredible bout manager, Ashley Hayes. Give it up for our executive producer, Sue Boxrud, and everybody at Bashuler Entertainment. We are going to hear from another incredible living legend poet, one of my favorite poets and people alive, while the savant, the mathematician, Ashley Hayes, continues to do her magic with the numbers and let us know which 5 poets are going to the second round and in which order. But right now you have a real treat because National Poetry Slam champion, a legend from the scene of in Charlotte, North Carolina, one of the most iconic poetry slam scenes in the United States. Give it up. He's got the same first name I have. I've never met a bad Carlos. I dare someone to tell me there's a bad Carlos out there. He's amazing. I call him Los. Give it up for Carlos Robeson.
Hello, everybody. I actually got a request, and I'm not going to honor the request. I'm sorry to that person. I was going to do it, and then I just decided to do something totally different. I actually just wanted to do something sort of innocent and fun and sort of a palate cleanser. And yeah. So here is a poem in the persona of Frankenstein when he goes to get a haircut. The day I met Gladys, I had come in for a cut. As she talked so much, I thought she was a little bit touched. They said she was chatty. I thought she was just nervous. I know I was, and was glad she had the courage to give me a haircut when so many others rejected me. See, just by accepting me, she really protected me. Who knows where I'd be if I hadn't found Gladys? Although there's always a chance she just can't see through her glasses. In a 1-hour appointment, there's not one moment of silence, and her haircuts look fine. They're not always lopsided. See, I used to come see Gladys and stay all afternoon until she told me I only need 1 appointment. So now I pay her for 2. I like being there so much we had to find more things to do. Now we dye my hair black even though it already is. Then we curl it while she tells me about all her grandkids. Then she blow dries it straight so that it looks like I came. So for the first hour and change, I look exactly the same. And have I mentioned that she talks? And she always remembers where she last left off. I know about her late husband and her boyfriend. I know about her late husband and her 2 Cocker Spaniels. I know about her daughter Glennis and her boyfriend Daniel. I know about their neighbor and his 2 golden retrievers. I know which pair of sneakers are Gladys's favorite sneakers. I know about her cruise to the Bahamas and the friends that she made. I know about her first trip to Washington when she was in the 5th grade. I know which of her friends she thinks are really her friends. I know the brand of socks she buys and the detergent she washes them in. I know she records her favorite shows on Wednesdays but watches them Sundays. She plays cards on Thursdays but gets her nails done Mondays. I know she grew up as big a fan as anyone from Dallas should, but jumped on board with Carolina as fast as she could. I know she loves Julia Roberts movies and staying up late for The Bachelor. I know she cries when she mentions her mother and her cancer. I know she donates to her church and she gives all her old clothes away. I know she feels sorry for her cousin who can't find good work that pays. I know sometimes it feels like her stories won't end. But I also know that this is how she's learned to make friends. And I think a long time ago, we all used to have this kind of patience where we didn't always sit around waiting and anxious. And I think that might make Gladys a little more like my doctor. And I'm not sure she's ever seen me as a monster, because with all that talking and the lightest touch, she keeps me from thinking about me so much. See, I swell from her kindness while she blabs and I sit, because listening to her blab is worth my whole trip. And then just like every Tuesday after blow dryers and combs, she snips just the tips of my hair and I go home. That's Frankenstein Gets a Haircut.
Give it up for Carlos Robeson. My goodness. Give it up for all 3 of our judges. Ebony Stewart, Carlos Robeson, Katie Kramer. Woo, man, I do not envy their job. This competition is extremely close.
It's hard tonight.
I mean, yeah, let me tell you. So listen, there are 5 poets that are moving on to the final rounds. Okay, there are 2 poets that we have to say goodbye to. Unfortunately, I wish we could bring everybody. We have to say goodbye to Maria del Carmen Martinez and Megan Zaley. Give it up for Maria and Megan. the 5 that are going on to the 3rd and final round to determine America's Best College Poet, who will get the title of America's Best College Poet, who will win the $1,500 cash prize. In this order, you will hear from Merm Harula, Joshua Moncure, Tejashree Jadav, Nadia Williams, and Jamie Williams. Okay? To be clear, there are tenths of a point that separate these five poets. It is so close. I mean, it is so close. It's like I'm sweating for the judges and for everybody that's in this. This is anybody's game. This is wide open. Please don't go 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Please let that not decide this. I'm saying this for me, for my own heart. It's going to break. Don't do this to me, please. Okay. Let's go have some fun. Put it all out there. Leave it all out on the virtual stage. Coming up first will be Merm Harula. On deck will be Joshua Moncure. Let's have fun. Let's keep the energy up. Let's clap for everybody. Everybody who's watching on YouTube, thank you for your energy. We feel all that radiating here. Give it up. The 3rd round and final poem. First poet in the final round of America's Best College Poet. Give it up for Merm Harula.
Don't know how to speak of me fondly. People don't know how to treat me with the respect my ancestors fought for, looking to the sky, navigating 5 million square miles with only the stars above and the tattoos from the sea below. A step-by-step process in learning about myself with what I want. And what I want is a PhD. I want a PhD. I want to be referred to in the highest honor in English. I want to be respected by others, even if they don't feel it. When they see a fat, brown body without a medical degree, they will talk or refer to me by putting doctor in front of it. I want a PhD so I can show every single person who thought or said I couldn't or wouldn't by making them say doctor in front of my name, to spit in their face, to twist their minds and bodies like the twisted mind of Captain Cook when he raped and pillaged my people for the sake of discovery. I want a PhD because of my badass Black and brown friends who I've been watching succeed in the face of those who say you wouldn't dare. Not the white ones who belittle and berate me for all I want to accomplish, like they'll amount to anything close to me. I want a PhD so when I continue to do amazing things, I can show my people that this can be them too. They're not stupid. They're not coconuts. They have minds as vast as our ocean, our Moana, and imaginations this world has never seen. I want a PhD because I want to show the little gay kids that they can do this. Give them the future in their little hands and tell them that their future is bright. Tell them it'll be difficult, but you'll find your family. You will have an amazing life, you beautiful child. These children can beat out a system that doesn't want them. They can be respected by others even if they don't feel it, by putting a knife in their belief system once they say doctor. I want a PhD because nobody told me I could. If I'd been told by one person, one teacher, that I could become a doctor, I would have never stopped. I want a PhD so that when I go into Congress and tell them how much they fucked up, they'll have the decency to call me doctor. They'll have the manners I teach my children now, the manner in which to refer to a doctor, an expert in their field, the best in their field, the best in the world, where the world really means the world, because everyone will have access to it. Everyone will be able to learn from it. Where islands of wonder exist, mountains that touch the sky and seas that go for more below exist in tandem. I want a PhD because I want to give people their dreams back. I want to give people a chance to live before they become the voices of the choked, the chained, the torn, the erased. I want a PhD just so you'll finally respect me. Thank you.
Give it up one more time for Merm Harula. Final poem in the final round for Merm Harula. On deck is Joshua Moncure. Up next is Joshua Moncure, and on deck is Tejashree Jadav. Right now, give it up for Joshua Moncure.
Have you ever fallen, severely injured, and wished absolutely no one was around to hear your screams, to give you the help you need, or to commit your pain to memory? The first time I was committed to the white walls of memory, I stopped having flashbacks. Every moment before the pills wove their way between the falling swords of my tears became afterthoughts, those scribbled nightmares I locked away in the diary I dare not open. I was committed to memory, and it was here that she taught me how to survive. They know pills are my weapon of choice, so it's ironic how they continue to ply me with pills, like they're trying to win a nuclear war. With more bombs, I'm given detailed maps to navigate the oceans of feeling that only seem to change in appearance when storms approach. I'm told to follow the map, that there's treasure out here, that X marks the spot. But why would you bury something so valuable the same way you would have buried me? I know what it's like to feel broken, and this is different. I felt broken when Johnny called me a nigger in middle school and kids realized the hard R wasn't reserved for recess. I may have felt broken, but a chipped knife is better than no knife in a street fight. There's a big difference between being heavy and being dead weight, between being broken and a burden. I feel like glass that can't shatter because it's never finished falling, like I'm a math equation so tedious it's only understood by TI-84s and verified by answer keys, like Western medicine is playing me, a sad slot machine in the casino of my parents' health insurance. Here I sit, in a chair without metal or corners, in a hoodie and sneakers without strings or laces, in a hospital called memory, while they tried to save me from mine. Silence restrains better than any straitjacket, so we feign dignity in binding ourselves. She knows how all of this works, how to navigate the corridors of misfired muskets yearning to forge blood bonds rather than stem the bleeding, how to strangle the approachability from my pupils and the confidence from my spine, how to deliver trauma so bluntly empathy is concussed. I gave her everything. The rise and fall of my voice, the batteries to my facial expression, the dates my eyes had with anyone else's. I ghosted the future. Take my everything. Forget what the therapists say. If you're by my side, I don't need to love myself. I just need to make sure hatred doesn't know my name. To fool the world into believing we share a moment of weakness, not an eternal mistake. I could never love you. And that's why you're perfect. You gave me a purpose, so I'll give you a name. I think I'll call you Borrowed Time.
Give it up for Joshua Moncure. Give it up for Joshua Moncure. So Merm Harula, with their third and final poem tonight, got a 25.4. We will find out what Joshua Moncure got after the next poet up, which is, the next poet up is Tejashree Jadhav. On deck is Nadia Williams. But right now, give it up, third and final poem in the third round. Give it up for Tejashree Jadhav. Give it up for Tejashree.
Why? Why do I write? And why is it so easy to write when my mind is restless? As if the only way to calm these thoughts is to hook them to poetic pages of pain. Because writing is more a chore than a hobby, more a loss than a gain, the loss of parts of me I can't hold on to no longer. So when I am at peace, rarely so, with happy thoughts, I do not want to let even a spoonful of them out of me. Why do I write? Because the pages of my diary are the best listeners. Because people can disappoint, but my words cannot. So when people leave, at least I have my words to hold on to, my words to ground me, my words to silence the storms that rage inside me, my words to sellotape the broken pieces of me and keep me together. When Audre Lorde said, poetry is no luxury, it came crashing down on me like the realizations you have at 2 a.m. Why I write? Because there is so much inside, and some days it gets too heavy. It gets too heavy and I have to let out these feelings of self-doubt. Let out how this guy speaks over me in class and I'm not sure if the things I have to say are intelligent enough. I want to let out how sometimes upper-class Indians look at me with a gaze so scornful. It reaches my soul and shrinks it, reminds me how I will always be less than them. I want to let out how sometimes my accent embarrasses me, how I know 3.5 languages and yet fall short of words to explain how I feel. I feel less, menos, less than the people I'm asked to compete with, study with, live with, stay with. I want to let out how I am frustrated that I have to be back home by 7 p.m. And when I'm not, my guy friends don't even get half the number of calls from their parents as much as I do. How do I even blame my parents for worrying when they wake up to horrible things happening to young girls every day? How do I blame them? For I know myself that when the sun starts setting and my heart starts racing and all male eyes in the distance become scary, and I tell my friends, need to go home. I want to let out. My mind is always in the state of a never-ending poem. I just break it into pieces so it becomes bearable. I put it on pages because deep down, I yearn to be heard, but people don't listen. People won't listen until you put everything in decorated words. So I decorate the pain of my words with the beauty of poetry. I write because somebody long ago once told me that I should not. Thank you for listening.
Give it up one more time for Tejashree, third and final poem in the finals. We only have 2 poets left in the third and final round of America's Best College Poet. Joshua Moncure got a 25.7 on his last poem. We will find out what Tejashree got after the penultimate, second to last poem in the third round. Nadia Williams is on deck. Jamie Williams is closing us out. No relation to Williams. Like Jamie said, Williams gang. There you go. 2 final poets closing us out. I don't think there is any relation. I don't think they even know each other. But after tonight, hopefully we will all be friends and we are all cheering each other on. Up right now is Nadia Williams. On deck is Jamie Williams. Give it up for Nadia. Let's keep the energy up to close this out right. Last 2 poets in the third round of the finals of America's Best College Poet. Give it up for Nadia.
My mother, a rich chocolate symphony of who cares and prayers. Mama keep her patience like her cigarettes short. Got God at the end of her fingertips. She got a smile that can crack a Bible by its commandments. A name like gunpowder exiting her body. She had a presence like the Grim Reaper in school courtyards. She broke poetry books by their spine. My mama done cheated death in card games. Play bones like hers still stand. I heard she made Satan weep. I heard she used to hopscotch over project buildings, and I heard she jumped heaven's gates and beat streetlights by their front porches. I held her skeletons in my closet, secrets my daddy never needed to know. Mama wades water with the way she hums and sips my name down to the last drop. Calls me her baby girl like I was her Jesus, like I could rise her nerves from the burial plots life has laid them down to, but I am just a shadow. Not miracle enough to make her nerves rise, so I weep for her. Being her only begotten daughter, I'll crucify my flesh for her. My mama's so doggone beautiful. The moon submerges itself in her darkness to illuminate as much as her. But when the lupus came, mama don't play much card games anymore. Ain't been able to feel herself walk on water since 2003. What have you done to my mama? Her patience has become shorter than them damn cigarettes, but they take her mind off the pain. It seems God has lost my mama's state of homeostasis in old maid games with Satan, gambling away my happiness. My savior has now been forsaken. Lupus, an autoimmune disease that makes it hard for my mother to be in peace. She now stumbles at heaven's gates. Satan just laughs at her and unable to lift the dice for this game called life. When the lupus comes, I will call the devil's bluff at the card table, say the dice are loaded. He reneged countless times, and that is why you're still here, mama. When the lupus comes, I will pray like Paul and Silas until God unshakes the chains that have conformed you to yourselves, mama, hoping that my prayer will give you automatic immunity in this current life and not the one after when the lupus comes. Thank you.
Give it up one more time for Nadia Williams, third and final poem in the finals of America's Best College Poets. Tejashree Jadhav got a 26.6 on her third and final poem tonight. 26.6 for Tejashree. We're going to find out what Nadia got after this final poem from the final poet in the third round. Closing us out. Somehow we have gotten through this night. We have one poet left, one poem left. Give it up. Closing us out. Give it up for Jamie Williams.
I'm from the Bay where you gotta think it's hard. Niggas say hella and be swinging they cars. Every day is sunny and everybody's a star. Don't nothing come small cause everything is large. I'm from the Bay where them niggas carry hammers. I'm from the Bay where them niggas go bananas. My mama told me don't get locked up in a slammer, so I gotta use my mind and I gotta mind my manners. I'm from a black pothole that offers no palliation. I'm from a fracture in the frame of society that is easily overlooked, a crack in the community that is becoming overbooked with faces of the enemy. Gentrification is a small entity of institutionalized racism. It is the beast, skin the color of money, teeth painted with privilege that races generations of families from the only homes that they have ever known. It is the calm before the conquest, because this country got manifest destiny so embedded into its identity. It is the hegemony in hiding. And so I wonder, if being Black is so bad, then why is my culture the blood of this country? I said, if being Black is so bad, then why is my culture the blood of this country? Why can we still see splotches of strangers' blood on the knuckles of colonizers? Why, when they were never welcome, did they parade in, wash out the streets like a flood, like a drowning, like a new battle on the horizon? Why, when they were never welcomed in the first place?
Give it up one more time for Jamie Williams. Give it up for all the poets tonight who performed. Every single one of the poets, all 10. Give it up for Megan Zaley. Give it up for Flora Pang. Give it up for Kavu. Give it up for Joshua Moncure. Give it up for Maria del Carmen Martinez. Give it up for Tejashree Jadhav. Give it up for Jamie Williams, who just performed. Give it up for Vic Kepner. Give it up for Merm Harula, Nadia Williams, every single one of you watching, our incredible bout manager, Ashley Hayes, the executive producer behind the scenes, Sue Boxrud. Give it up for the incredible Ebony Stewart, Carlos Robeson, Katie Kramer. I'm your host, Carlos Andres Gomez. We are going to find out what Jamie Williams got, and then you have an incredible treat. You're going to hear one more poem tonight from an incredible poet. Okay, first we're going to get Jamie's score, and then we are going to announce the winners of America's Best College Poet, the winner in the second place, in the third place, in the fourth place, in the fifth place, and we're going to find this out. You're going to get a poem from an incredible person that I love and adore very much. We're in a little poetry duet crew called Dare to Speak. I've known this poet for an incredibly long time. It's like 18, 17 years. She's a National Poetry Slam champion. She's a legend in the Denver Poetry Slam scene. Give it up for Katie Kramer. Katie Kramer is going to read a poem, and then I will tell you what Jamie Williams is, and you're going to find out who the winners are. Okay, give it up for Katie Kramer.
Hi, y'all. I am just enjoying this so much. I have had a weirder day than I have words for, and I am indeed trapped in a breastfeeding room at the Seattle-Tacoma airport, hence my great wallpaper. But really, if I had to be stuck here all day, there's just nothing I'd rather be doing than listening to you all read poems. So thank you so much for that gift. Today, so my dad died 5 years ago, and today is the I know it's the anniversary of the day that we knew he was not going to make it, because Facebook showed me this picture of when he went in for exploratory surgery, and I had drawn a road map for the surgeons under his thing, so in honor of my dad. The story I hear most often from my parents about the glory days of their early 20s involves a handful of kegs brimming with cheap beer, a giant sign proclaiming Toga tonight, and the apartment building my dad lived in the week before it was going to be torn down. The year was 1982. Animal House was like an actual place. My parents had no idea what the next 33 years would bring. They were young, in love, and looking for a good time. At the party, my dad apparently got nervous that no one was going to show up, so took it upon himself to make a dent in the beer. This excessive early drinking caused him to pass out by like 8:15. My mom says the party was an epic rager, but my dad slept through the whole thing. A few years later, because of a rainy camping trip and his incredible skills of persuasion, my parents had an accident that resulted in the miracle of their firstborn. Me. We lived in a one-bedroom townhome in a shitty suburb of Denver. I had the bedroom where my parents bunked in the hallway. This is a fact that is interesting as an earthquake to every therapist I've ever seen. When my sister worked her way down from the stardust, she was a wishbone someone had already snapped. We took her home not knowing she was in pieces, and in 31 years haven't quite gotten all of her back. But she remembers everyone's birthday and always sings show tunes in the car. She calls our mom like 10 times an hour, and that holy angel of a human answers. Y'all, this is my family. Well, almost. My mom, she remarried a man with a mustache and a personality that makes my teeth itch. A few years ago, I used all my powers to arrange a steamy love affair between her and a sexy blast from her past. It didn't work because she is too dang good of a person. My dad, he remarried a saint. There's a handful of step-siblings I wouldn't mind sweeping under the rug. It's not that I think they're worthless as dust, but sometimes it feels like we were houseboat with too many bricks when the cancer came back. I was the only one of us in the waiting room, holding hands with a woman from the HR department, doing her darndest to smooth out the wrinkles in the protocol. The surgeon had just walked all over when he told me in the middle of a crowded hallway that my dad had an expiration date shorter than the hair on his head. I used to be a preschool teacher, and a little girl once asked if I think God ever takes a vacation. The answer that day was absolutely yes. The last time I saw him out of the house, I took him to the movies. I watched him lay his pride to rest and let me wheel him to the theater. I had to step back into the hallway, weeping like a monsoon, as if this disease was the worst thing that had ever happened to me. Selfish as a prayer. I spent nearly an hour once scrubbing his blood out of an old rag that could have more easily been thrown away, wrist deep in a sink stained with red, as if his life depended on me being able to get it clean. Y'all, the thing about grief is that it just never sleeps. It is an all-night party, and every last one of your bones was invited. I gave the eulogy at his funeral, which is a hell I do not wish on anyone, but it just seemed right, being that I speak for a living. Later that day, I hung a giant sign on the outside of his house that said, "Toga tonight." Everyone showed up in their very best bed sheets. We all drank too much beer, and my dad, true to form, he slept through the whole thing.
Give it up, everybody, for Katie Kramer. What a way to close out tonight. Give it up for yourselves. Give it up for everybody. I'm going to get right to it. This was extremely, extremely close. We do have a winner. You're thinking, why didn't you give the last score? Well, because I still have a impulse toward theater and drama. And I also don't want everybody to figure it out on their own. And so I'm going to hold that, and you're going to find out right now. In fourth place, give it up for Merm Harula. Give it up for Merm Harula in fourth place. Incredible job tonight, Merm Harula. In third place, give it up for Joshua Moncure. Give it up for Joshua Moncure in third place. We have a tie for second. A tie for the runner-up of 2020's America's Best College Poet. Give it up for the second place poets, Tejashree Jadhav and Jamie Williams. Tejashree and Jamie tied for second place, which means the winner and the inaugural 2020 America's Best College Poet is Nadia Williams. Give it up for Nadia Williams, 2020 America's Best College Poet. The title winner.
Let's go, Dad.
$1,500 cash if your school allows you to take it. Thank you again to the judges, everybody. Nadia, make sure to be in touch with Boxrude. I'm really grateful to everyone. Nadia, is there anything you want to say? The confetti's coming down. Just picture.
Oh my God. I want to first give honor to my Lord and Savior, God. Oh my God. Oh my, thank you, Jesus. 2020 has been such a hard year for me, and I almost gave up on poetry. And I was just so grateful. Thank you, Jesus. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh God. Thank you, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. I don't want to drop my phone. I will be shouting with my feet right now. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so grateful. Oh God. I can't feel my face. I cannot feel my face. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Oh, thank you guys so much. Thank you for believing in my work and my poetry. Thank you for allowing me to believe in myself again. Oh my God. Oh God. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. Oh. Okay. I think I'm done ugly crying now. I specifically took off my lashes because I cried during the last poem. So I can't believe it. Thank you guys. Thank you to everybody else that competed. You guys literally had me on the edge of my seat this whole competition. I'm so glad that I was able to do slam again. I missed it so much. Please, all of you follow me. I'm gonna drop my Twitter and my Instagram and my Facebook and all that. I will accept everybody's friend requests.
Put your stuff in the chat.
Got you. Oh my God. Oh my literal God.
Everyone clap again for Nadia Williams. Clap again for Nadia Williams. Clap for all the poets tonight. I'm telling you, listen. Wherever you finished, whether you were a finalist or you were a semifinalist, you were only in the prelims and you're watching, or you're a supporter of Nadia and you all go to the same school, or you go to a rival school or a sister school or whatever, listen, we are going to be back in the spring. And I'm telling you right now, the buzz is already building so much. It looks like we're going to have probably 4 or 5 times as many schools as we had for this one. So tell your school you want to do it again. Holler at your sister and rival schools and tell them you want to talk to Sue Boxrude and already, get in the pot and register for 2021, because we're going to cap it. We're going to have a lot more schools, but there is going to be a limit and we're going to cap it. So spread the word. Thank you all so much again. Listen, wherever you finished, I want to see you back in the spring. I want to see you back in this. We need your gifts and your poems. You get down to the final round. Like I said, we're talking about tenths of a point. Anyone could have won tonight, and anyone can win in 2021. Make sure to follow each other on Instagram, on Twitter, on everything, on TikTok. I'm super grateful. Again, my name is Carlos Andres Gomez. Thank you to everybody who was a part of this. I'm super, super grateful. I don't know if Sue Boxer or anybody else wants to jump in and say hello, or any of the judges, but I'm extremely, extremely grateful to have been a part of this. I was completely blown away by all of you. Remember what I said at the beginning. I'm going to say it one more time. This is going to be the last thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to sign off and let whoever else wants to talk. Okay? Winning a competition like this will not change somebody's life. Poems change people's lives. Poems change people's lives. There were many poems that were said tonight that I will never forget. I'll remember your name. I'll remember your story. I'll remember your face. I'll remember your poem. I'm not going to remember where you finished tonight. I will remember your poem. It is always about the poem. That's why we say the poems are the points. The points are not the points. You all deeply impacted me Y'all are my heroes. I'm so grateful for you. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Congratulations. And I look forward to seeing you in 2021. Your job, your mission, if you choose to accept it, and I hope you do, is to get like folks from 8 or 9 sister and rival schools to sign up in 2021. Let's make it even bigger and better. And we'll see you next year. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Take care.